He was a college student. His apartment complex was walking distance from the bars downtown, which meant late nights were common, and people wandering home alone after last call was a routine sight. One weeknight, he stepped outside onto his front porch to smoke a cigarette and study. It was around 2:30 in the morning. A girl he'd never met before, his neighbor, one apartment over, came home from downtown. She was alone. She'd clearly been drinking. She got through her door and had barely closed it when a man appeared. Where he came from was unclear. He knocked on her door. She opened it. He introduced himself, which struck the watcher on the porch as immediately wrong. Who introduces themselves to a stranger at 2:30 in the morning? He stayed outside and watched. They talked for over 10 minutes. And what he observed in those 10 minutes was a slow, calculated performance. The stranger reached out and touched her hair. 3 times. Each time a little more comfortable than the last. Each time her discomfort visibly grew. And with every passing minute, he inched, deliberately, almost imperceptibly, closer to her in the doorway. The watcher on the porch made a point of being loud, rustling pages, shifting around, so the man would know someone was there. The man looked over, and then he was gone, vanished as smoothly and quietly as he had arrived. They called the police. Days later, when a sketch was made and released to the public, the calls flooded in. The man was a serial rapist. His method: follow women home alone from bars. Offer them a cab ride if the distance was far enough. This girl had gotten lucky. She lived close enough that he hadn't had the chance to deploy his usual routine. Without a tired student sitting on that porch that night, the outcome would have been catastrophically different. He had never used Craigslist before. And after this, he never used it again. A man had posted an ad for a ping pong table. The price was right, the location wasn't far, and he and his roommate had been looking for exactly that. He arranged a pickup time for that evening, cleared out the back seats of his truck, and drove over. The house looked normal enough from the outside. The man who answered the door was older, a smoker's voice, a certain kind of quiet about him. He led his guests straight to the basement without much conversation. There was the ping pong table, right in the middle of the room. Then the man said he needed to find the paddles. He went back upstairs and left his guests to wait. After a few minutes, the waiting became snooping. The basement had a certain loneliness to it, framed photos on the shelves, but not a single one with another person in it. Just the man. Alone. Again and again. A storage room in the back caught his eye. And in it, a utility desk with a drawer hanging half open. He pulled it fully open. The Polaroid photographs inside showed a girl, tied to a chair, mouth covered with tape. Beside the photos, folders, labeled A through Z. He grabbed his phone to photograph the evidence. No signal. He ran to the door at the top of the stairs. But from the other side, the man's deep voice, apologetic, calm, casual. He'd accidentally locked it. He'd go look for the key. With the sound of the man's footsteps moving away from the door, he ran back to the utility desk. He grabbed 3 screwdrivers. Tried each one in the keyhole. The smallest one fit. He turned it with trembling hands until the mechanism gave. He ran. Through the door, out of the house, into his truck. He didn't look back. He drove directly to the nearest police station and showed them everything. It turned out the man was running a child pornography operation through the dark web. Why he locked that basement door, what exactly he planned to do, remains unknown. The narrator says he doesn't have the slightest idea what the man intended, and he's grateful he never found out. She was 14 years old when she took the babysitting job. The boy's name was Cody. He was 6. His parents gave her a few simple instructions before they left. Order pizza for dinner, and don't let Cody into their bedroom. They also mentioned, almost as an aside, that Cody was a bit different from other kids. He talked to himself sometimes. He had an imaginary friend. They said it casually, the way parents do when they want to downplay something they've quietly worried about for a long time. The afternoon passed normally enough. Cody sat on the living room floor, scattered toys all around him, playing. He kept using a name, Agnes. He spoke to the empty space in front of him as though another child sat there, just as real as he was. And then one of Cody's toys activated. Not a battery-operated toy that goes off randomly. A manual toy. A small cube with a crank. The kind where you physically turn a handle and a miniature racetrack scene plays on the screen. The kind of toy that requires deliberate physical interaction to start. It started on its own. She asked Cody how that was possible. He looked at her with the complete calm of a child who found the question strange. Agnes is playing with it, he said. She turned the toy off. Tried to move on. Later that night, in the final hour before his parents returned, she was in the bathroom washing up when she heard a knock at the door. She called out Cody's name. Open the door. The hallway was empty. She looked down the hall. A door at the far end was slowly, very slowly, creaking open on its own. She entered the room expecting to find Cody hiding behind the door, playing a prank. Instead, Cody was sitting on the bed at the far end of the room, completely still, looking at her. She asked who had pushed open the door. He answered without missing a beat. Agnes. She picked Cody up, brought him back to the living room, and did not leave his side until his parents returned. She said nothing to them about what had happened. When they called her a few weeks later to come back and babysit again, she never called them back. 10 stories. 10 real people who walked out the other side of something they couldn't fully explain, and in some cases, barely survived. The man crouched on the sidewalk. The figure with the axe in the storm. The voice from the dark basement. The hooded stalker in the woods. The severed head in the abandoned house. The van full of silent men. The stranger in the wilderness wearing a dead man's backpack. The predator working his way through a doorway. The photographer with the folders labeled A through Z. And Agnes. None of them came with warnings. None of them announced themselves. They simply arrived, in the middle of ordinary evenings, on ordinary streets, in ordinary homes. And they reminded every single person they touched that the world is not always what it looks like from the inside of a warm, locked house. Lock your doors tonight. And if you hear something outside, don't go and check. Good night.